Maria. I'm a painter and an illustrator, but primarily I'm a cartoonist. And I live and work here in Waltham out of a studio in my backyard. I'm sort of a traditional cartoonist. While a lot of cartoonists nowadays prefer to work digitally because it's a lot faster and easier to reproduce, I still like to work on good old-fashioned paper. In fact, I like to do a lot of my work pencil and paper, and then watercolor and gouache are also tools that I like to use, partially because they are easy to clean up, very portable, and especially right now, again, in this pandemic, things that are quick and easy to use that sort of takes priority over everything else with what little time I have. In more normal times, I do like to use ink with brush, ink with inking nibs. That process is a lot slower, but I find it very rewarding to have a physical object at the end of my cartooning session that I can put on my wall, enjoy it, see if the story flows the way I want it to, see if it reads visually. I don't get that same sense of satisfaction from working digitally, so that's sort of why I keep coming back to paper. The original art doesn't really matter so much in terms of what it's made of as long as it reproduces well. So in my studio, you'll see Sharpies, whiteout, stuff that everybody has hanging around the house because sometimes that is the best tool for the job. In my comics work, I am primarily a memoirist, and my work in my last few years have been about my life and my experiences. I've been keeping that going in this pandemic. I've been doing a lot of work about what it's been like in pandemic lockdown while raising a 3-year-old. It's difficult and an interesting experience. And I've been recording that in a diary series that I've called Extraordinary Times. It's a cartoon diary series about what life's been like, and I've been keeping that up since March. It is illustrated cartoon style, because again, I'm a cartoonist, and I update about what's going on in my life, how I've been feeling, how things are going, what's going on in the news, reflecting on all those things sort of jumbled together. And Extraordinary Times, the series, definitely is sort of the pinnacle of what I've been working on in this pandemic. So I'll have pieces that talk about what it's like being at home with my 3-year-old all the time and wondering about when we're going to be able to have any sort of normalcy for her and worrying about her development, that kind of thing. And then the next entry might be something about how the COVID numbers are doing here in Massachusetts. So yeah, Extraordinary Times is where, with what little time I have in this pandemic, I've been dedicating most of my efforts. I find that doing memoir work in better times allows me to be reflective about my experiences. If my work is reflective, I've been thinking more about the effects of climate change. So I've done some painting works, exploring either through narratives or through abstract work what climate change means to me and how I feel about it. But given how difficult things are now for all of us for all sorts of reasons, the memoir work that I've been doing has been really cathartic and has allowed me to connect with other people who are experiencing similar things, or to folks who like to see their own experiences reflected back in cartoon form. But I found myself also needing more of an escape. So I've done a lot more flight of fancy type works, specifically so I can just try and escape the world that we're living in for a little bit and have some fun. Everybody always has challenges in getting to the studio and getting uninterrupted time. Even though mine is in my backyard, it's now almost impossible for me to get more than an hour of uninterrupted time a week. It's nothing resembling my previous studio practice, but for me, making art right now, especially now, is so important to my own resilience and also to the community of people who read my work and respond to it. I feel a deep connection to folks who read my work and tell me how it impacts them, and it feels almost like a sacred obligation that I need to keep that going, and believe me, it keeps me going too. Okay, what is important about making... I keep answering the questions in advance without realizing. Even when I'm in my studio now, usually I have my studio mate, my 3-year-old daughter. She's usually sitting at the table right next to me. We don't collaborate yet, but she does like to watch me draw. And often I'll be sitting at my desk here drawing, and she'll be right next to me working on her own work in parallel with me. And so I'm starting her studio practice early, but that's often the only way I can get any work done right now. So you make do with what you can with the time you've got.